Welcome to the Rock and Roll James YouTube channel. I've got next to me guitarist extraordinaire from the band Sons of Texas, Jesse DeHoyos.
What's up? What's happening? What's going on?
How's it going, bro? How y'all doing?
Doing all right, man. Just working on some stuff quietly, secretly.
See? You got some new stuff. You guys got a new album out, right?
Yeah, we got one that we released in September of 2017. It's called Forged by Fortitude. It's been out a few months, half a year, something like that. And,
Beneath the Riverbed is a song, right?
A single, man, yeah. It's been doing well. Over a million views.
I saw that, man. I was talking about
stuff.
yeah. I was talking about that on the radio, man. I was like, wow, man, you guys are, and a lot of great comments. Not one negative comment. Everybody, man, they love you from all over the place, man.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while you get a couple of people in there, but you wouldn't be doing something right if you didn't have those people. You know
a couple is like when I went down the list of the YouTube comments there on those videos. There was nothing but love for you guys, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
I didn't see too many negative comments at all. And there's no reason to be, bro, because I think you guys got a solid foundation with the music you're doing, man. You've got you got a good style. The music is strong. The hooks are good. And it sounds great, man. The album sounds great, man.
Thank you very much. We work for that, man. It's definitely something we got to work at. It's not something that just comes natural, you know, like it's... I don't care who you are, man. You got to work at that kind of stuff.
Where were you born, bro? You're born here in the Valley?
I was born at my grandfather's house in San Juan, Texas.
San Juan, Texas?
Yes, sir.
What year was that, man?
That was 1985.
1985?
Yes, sir. In the 80s.
I was about to turn 20.
Yeah, man.
I was already hot wiring cars.
Shit, man. You look younger than I do right now.
Yeah, man. So you San Juan, you went to school PSJ or what?
Yeah, PSJA South, those Bears. Yes, sir. We went out there for high school, that kind of stuff, and been all over the Valley all my life, man.
How was school, man, when you were in school? Were you like in the athletics and all that stuff? Or
no, man. It was kind of trip because before I went into high school, I had a bunch of cousins that were all like not pro athletes, but they were like star athletes, man. Like they did well in all the sports. And they knew my last name, DeHoyos, and I walked in, and I went to one of the coaches was like, "Hey, man, you're DeHoyos. Let's get you on the roster." And I was like, "Ain't that kind of DeHoyos, buddy? You're barking up the wrong tree, man."
Nothing at all. You don't get into anything at all.
I love sports. I'll watch it. I'll partake in it. If like the guys are hanging out, we'll throw the football around, baseball, basketball, whatever it is, man. I love all that. It's just in high school, for some reason, it wasn't my gig, man. It was all about, you know, in my mind, all I wanted to do was play guitar. Like, that was my thing.
And how old were you when you started picking up the guitar and the bass and all that stuff? How old were you when you realized you were, musically inclined, man?
I don't know if I realized I was musically inclined, but I knew I wanted to do something with music, man. I definitely wanted to play guitar, you know, and it was something that kind of snuck up on me because I wasn't into any of that at all. And
how old were you when that happened, man?
15, man. 15? I was 15 when it come up on me, and a couple of friends were like, "Hey, you know, out in the yard during the physical education, and they had the CD player, man. I don't know if anybody listening nowadays knows what a CD player is."
Well, you're talking about the year 2000 if you were 15. If you're from 85,
yep,
that was about the year 2000 at the millennium, man. You were picking up the guitar.
Man. And,
what kind of music were you listening to back then, man?
You know, I listened to a lot of hip hop, man. Actually, growing up, because
Death Row.
Yeah, dude, anything Dre touches, anything Dre touches is awesome, dude.
Yeah, Tupac and Dre and Snoop, man. That was a great era, man, of rap, man.
That's actual rap. It's good stuff, man.
So you were getting into that. You weren't into. Were you into any heavy metal, any stuff like that?
No, you know, I had heard Metallica, you know, the AC/DC, the big bands, you know, through the radio and every now and again, and it would catch my attention. I'd be like, "Man, who's that? It sounds crazy. Like, it sounds awesome." But the one that like really threw me for a loop was Crazy Train. A buddy of mine come up to me. He's got the headphones from the CD player, and he goes, "Dude, check this out." He put it on. It was a riff from Crazy Train. And when I heard that, I was like, "Dude, what is this? Like, where's this been hiding? Like, what's this about?" And for me, it was just something that I knew I wanted to pursue from then on, you know. And I just listening to Metallica. Metallica was one of the first bands I got into. Metallica, AC/DC, Ozzy. But hearing Randy was like, you know, rip through that guitar. I was like, man, I didn't even know that was possible. You know what I mean? And then got into Dimebag and Pantera, and that was it. Like the last nail in the coffin. This is what's gonna happen for sure.
And around that time, 2000, that's like towards the end of the Pantera era, man. They broke up around.
3 years
they officially
later,
called it off.
They called it off, man.
2003, but man, those 90s were. You know, it was interesting. I was talking about that. You know, while radio was pretty much just playing nothing but grunge and, you know, some of that Soul Asylum type of REM type of rock in the 90s, Pantera was just tearing it all over the place, man, with no freaking radio airplay or anything like that, you know. And they had a following, and it was just from just touring, and every show was just a party, you know. And, man, I just remember hanging out with them. And that's, you know, when I heard you guys and your music, I mean, it took me back to those days, man. And
well, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
And there aren't many bands that are emulating that style, you know, and at all, I don't think, you know. But you know, it sounds great, man.
Thank you
the
very
music
much,
you
man.
guys
Thank
got,
you.
the riffs and the style. So you could really tell the Pantera influence, the Dimebag influence, the Randy Rhoads influence also as well. And so when you picked up the guitar at the age of 15, you know, what was the first song you learned, man? I mean, what did you start working on? You know, most people start with Smoke on the Water.
Nah, for me, I thought it was cool that a buddy of mine knew how to play the clean guitar intro to Enter Sandman, and I was like, I need to learn how to play that. I need to learn. And I picked up one of these books from a local music store called Millhart Music Center. Shout out, much love.
Yeah, shout out.
And they had the Black Album, so I picked that up, and I didn't realize at the time I was trying to read music and this kind of thing. And my cousin goes, "Hey, you see these numbers down here, man? Those are tabs." He goes, "You don't have to struggle with trying to read music or any of that stuff. Just this is the strings, these are the frets, and this and that." And I was like, dude,
yeah,
you know, just started picking up stuff faster. Yeah.
Wow.
So the first riff I learned was that opening clean riff, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, man. You know what I mean? And then I picked up trying to do leads because I seen Kirk on that Year and a Half in the Life of Metallica, and then the Binge and Purge. Dude, all that was I still have all that on VHS, dude.
That Seattle show, man. It's freaking awesome.
Incredible, man. And so, like, from then on, like, wanting to learn leads and that kind of stuff, the first solo I learned was I Disappear. And it's not really a hard solo. It's just a quick, you know, like pentatonic kind of thing. And something that I sat in my room for 4 hours just by ear. That's not the right note. That's not the right note. Over and over and over. Okay, that sounds a little bit closer, that kind of thing. And then I finally got it. And I thought I was a rock star at that point. You know, just that little bitty solo that I learned. But because I learned it on my own, I didn't have a book for it. You know, because it was just a one-off. It wasn't on an album or something. I don't think it was on an album. And I just learned it. And from then on, I was like, man, this is great, man. Like, this is, how far can I take this kind of thing, you know? And it's just downhill from there, man.
So then, you know, you 15 years old, you start picking up the guitar, you start learning some riffs, start learning some songs, and then you got hooked up with some bands locally, or what?
No, man, it actually took a while. It took a few years for me to actually get into a band and perform. And that kind of thing, or like I'd rehearse with a few friends, you know, some tunes that we'd learn
from
just
San Juan Alamo area.
PSJ.
There's a lot of musicians in that area,
a lot, all over the valley, man. It's insane. And just learning tunes that we liked, you know, we liked in common, Metallica, Megadeth, or what have you. And never really got into a show until I was 18. I think there was something called Spring Jam at the time, which was like a local talent show for the school. And they had it every year, and I had some buddies of mine assembled a quick, you know, spare parts band. Shout out to Danny. And
hey, shout out Danny.
A quick spare parts band, and like just put it all together, and we're like, hey, let's learn this, you know, little quick 5-song set list or whatever, and see if we can knock it out. And it was fun, man. Like at first I was shy, and even when I would play my solos or whatever, I'd get down and I had my hair in my face. I would get down on my knees, like to try to learn a lead. I was like in my shell. I was, you know, afraid and stage fright and that kind of thing. And then, but I love being up there, and I was like, I want to do it again. I just need to get past this stage fright. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And eventually, man, it just threw back some cold, you know. And I was like, let's
got
do
some
it.
liquid courage, man. That's what it is, liquid courage.
That's
man.
it, dude. That was it. And man, it's been cool since then, you know.
Yeah. So then you got into a band, and I saw that you were playing bass on some pictures, man. You also you dabbled with the bass too, huh?
The first band I was in was with John, who's the other guitar player in Sons of Texas. His name's John Olivares, and I had met him when he was 19.
Where's John from?
John is from Santa Rosa.
Santa Rosa, okay, yeah, the Santa Rosa. I mean, he's great too, man. You guys make a good team, man.
I'm actually, a lot of the stuff I learned because of him. Like, he makes me a better guitar player because he's not scared to call you on bullshit. That's the kind of dude you need in your life.
Yeah.
Especially a lady, too. Somebody's like, you know, she's there to support you, but you also need somebody to be able to call you on your bullshit and tell you, hey, con todo amor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're fucking up. You know what I mean? Like, and my wife is from Santa Rosa, too, and she's not scared to call me on my bullshit. I love you, all right? But, no, Johnny's just... It's weird with John. He's got a different train of thought. And that's what I appreciate most, you know, like learning, try to get perspective from somebody else, see the world through somebody else's eyes, if you will. And that's what he helped me do with the guitar. Before it was just speed, no rhythm, no nothing like that, and play 1,000,000 miles an hour kind of thing. And John was like, I mean, you play 1,000,000 miles an hour, but if it's not musical, you're just fucking wasting your time. You know what I mean? And I was like, kind of slap in the face, and I was like, I can be a piece of shit and say, you know, fuck this guy, whatever, turn my back and just keep doing what I'm doing, or I can accept that, absorb it, and fix my issues. And since then,
constructively,
yeah, you got to be able to do that. It sucks, like it takes a shot at your ego because you think you're over here, you know what I mean? But if somebody's telling you it and you're able to absorb that and turn it into something positive, it helps, man. And that's the way it's been. And every now and again, we'll challenge each other, that kind of thing. Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Or whatever. Even just on life lessons and fatherhood and that kind of stuff, because we got kids now and all that kind of stuff. So every once in a while we talk about our kids and our situations at home and what we can.
You all are each other's therapists.
Yeah, man. You need a buddy to help you out. Like, I've known John forever, man. So like with that guy, I could talk to him about anything. But yeah, man, going back on the whole band thing, that was the first band was with John, and then. And
you were playing bass, and he was playing guitar?
I was playing guitar, but that band started slowly to break up, you know, and things weren't going so great. And John jumped in to help another band called Laying Ruins. And John, they needed a guitar player. And for whatever reason, their bass player was either going to leave or I don't know, I forget what happens. But I got wind of that. I kind of like was eavesdropping, saying, hey, what's going on over here, you know? And they were like, we're going to need a bass player. And I was like, dude, I'll do it. And they're like, but you're a guitar player. You sure? That's cool. I was like, dude, I just want to keep jamming, you know, like. If I can get some more experience under my belt, and I actually enjoyed what they were doing, and I wanted to be part of it. So it was like a win-win, you know, on all the levels. And we got into that, and man, like I was in that for like 3 years, 4 years before things started to kind of slowly turn in, you know, die down, that kind of thing. Those 3 or 4 years that we were in with Laying Ruins were some of the best years of my life, dude. It was incredible. Like some of the best shows I'd ever been a part of.
Were you still a teenager then?
No, I was late teens going into my 20s, and then eventually I think I might have been just turned 21 or something, because I was doing a lot of boozing, man. I was able to buy beer and that kind of stuff, so we'd go to the shows, I get slammed. And I mean, I was doing bass, and I'm not a bass player. I'm not like Nick. Like you see Nick is a phenomenal bass. That's an actual musician that knows how to play bass. That's a bass player. Me, just following on along with the riffs of what the guys were doing on guitar.
It wasn't that as fun to you as playing guitar then, huh?
It was fun. It actually was fun because I didn't have a lot of responsibility, you know, instrument-wise. A lot of the stuff was already written, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going to enjoy this for the ride it is. And it was, man, some of the best years of my life, and we just had a great time. And you still see some of the clips we shot, you know, from the footage and that kind of stuff on YouTube every now and again. You look that stuff up. And some of the shows were rowdy, man.
Was Mark singing with you guys when you all had Laying Ruins?
No, Mark, you know what's funny is that Mark, Nick, and Mike started that band as a talent show thing too. Like they all went to the same high school.
They were Texas, right? I mean, they call themselves Texas?
No. Mark started and named Laying Ruins with Nick and Mike.
Oh, okay.
And Mark went off and did his own thing after they won apparently some talent show for the school they were in. And Mark went off and did his own thing after that and started Solarium, which was another band he was in, which a couple of friends we know that were in that band too. He went off, did his own thing, and we had another guy that was singing after Mark left. His name was Edgar. And he was our vocalist. And again, man, it was a crazy web of events that went down, and that started slowly falling apart. And I was doing 2 bands at once. I was doing Laying Ruins, and I was doing Machete. Remember Machete? And that was Mark singing, Saul on drums, Bert on bass, Dorian on guitar, and Mark was singing. It was, dudes, also cool, man. It was some good times and that kind of stuff. But both bands, for some reason, they were starting to kind of like, you know, break up, or, you know, people were going their own ways kind of thing. And I told John, I was like, man, I got to get back on guitar.